Daisy Cameron. She was born in Jamaica in 1919, the 15th of June, and she came to England 1958 and must have moved to Derby and lived where I met her in the Normanton area. I came to Derby from Sheffield after nursing for a while to live in Derby. It had cleaner air than Sheffield, so I chose Derby. And I was looking around for my people that I could link with, you know, adapted people, friends and so, and I met Mrs. Cameron and some older ladies like herself. So we said, okay, what we're gonna do as people in our community, we got to do things, and the Pear Tree House is available. And we started doing things there like cooking, sewing, baking, you know, and activities like drama. She brings the music in and we sing, and we do fundraising for developing other projects for elderly people and youngsters also. And we work together for years, showing up at parties and people's clubs, you know, and singing old-time songs from the Caribbean that we remember from childhood. Old people, something about the old man's clock. I remember that song, she used to play it. And, you know, everybody warmed to her because she was so good. And then she became ill after taking people around the seaside and places of interest like the museums, doing all sorts with people, young and old. She became ill and passed away in 1994, and there it was, she just went. So we've lost a very conscious elderly woman in our group, in our community. A lot of things stopped when she died, you know.
How did you meet Daisy?
I don't know, I was rushing around Derby looking for something to do. Because first of all, I had a little girl and I wanted a nursery. And I couldn't find a nursery because I wanted to go back to work. And Sheffield had nurseries, Derby didn't have any. So I went to the council house and I was jumping up and down in there and making noise about what is Derby doing. And Pastor Pickup, that tablet church in Normanton, he was in there as a young man, and they sent him out to find me. Who is this mad hatter that's raising hell about things, you know? And I was the first black woman or young woman who started a nursery in the Pear Tree House. And that's how I met her, because she was looking after children at the time, and she brought them down there for play groups and painting and, you know, getting them ready for school, and that's how we met.
You mentioned a lot of things stopped when Daisy Cameron.
Yeah, the community efforts, the project development, the singing, the marching at Christmas time and concerts that she used to put together with young and old, and those things that sort of closed down, you know.
Yeah. Why did she start doing it? Yeah.
Because how many people see the sea being born in the inner cities, you know? So we said, okay, let's take the children to the seaside, because that's what we do in the Caribbean. Go to the seaside when it's holiday time, bus load, truckload of people. So we have 3 bus coaches can be leaving the library at any time. 52 people in a coach anytime with children. Sometimes 2 coaches to the Blackpool Lights, to the seasides. And that's how it started, and people is looking forward to it. In the summertime, like 1 or 2 trips per month is always from the library, and the buses are filled. Nowadays, youngsters have the cars in the family. They say, oh, I don't go in coaches anymore. It's that community thing anymore. So although they have the cars, I don't know how often they take their kids to the seaside. It just don't happen anymore.
What made her want to help people?
She had young people, youngsters of her own, not so young, but she had children, and she used to look after children. So I think she's from a sort of teaching background from home. So she's accustomed to be working with youngsters, and I think that's where her interest lies first, with people in the community.
I heard that she's very musical. What?
Yeah, she plays the organ. I'm not sure about any other instrument, but she plays a proper organ. She plays in any churches, even the cathedral, having big funerals and things there. She plays the organ there. She plays in the Baptist church. She plays in the Anglican church. Anybody who wants her to play, she does.
And does she teach anyone?
Yeah, she teaches young people, boys and girls, going there in the evenings for hour music lessons.
Was it a phenomenon for a black lady from Jamaica to teach in the community music and English?
No, that is what we do in Jamaica. When we come here, we look forward to the European person to do all that. Because in the Caribbean, although you've qualified, you never have a piece of paper to say, I'm qualified. So when you come and you said I'm a musician or a teacher, they're telling you got to be retrained or something. Unless you come from the blue blood, I don't know. Because Jamaica is a British colony. What Britain do, we do. What books they read, we read. So I don't see why our development should be so different, but it's the way they do things, you know. As they said, the pastor christen his own first. They don't accept your capability, you know. So if she had gone in a place and said, I'm a musician, she'd have to show the papers, which she hasn't got. But put her in front of the organ, she beats the man who's got the papers in his bag. You understand? So everybody go to her for training. And even when she died, a young girl played 3 hymns at her funeral service that she taught. I watched that young girl. She was about 15. You couldn't believe she would be able to do that. You know?
Had she always wanted to, you know, help people?
Always. She goes out and do little jobs, and when I'm going to work, she's coming back from some early morning jobs that she's done, and then the children are delivered to her house, and 3 or 4 kids, she's looking after them for mothers to go to work or further their education. Now you can't even find anybody in our community that is allowed to take 3 or 4 children and look after them, because they're telling you about how much cubic feet they're supposed to have in the house, and this is not suitable and that is not suitable. My kids were looked after by ordinary people, and they're qualified people today. Nobody did them any harm. But the system has changed and everything just stopped. And that's why a lot of young parents or young single mothers cannot find anybody to support them when they want to go on and do things to help themselves. And there's no nurseries running at that time of the day to take those children in. You know, when I was at the university, I asked, can't you set up a nursery that run between subjects that the parent who wants to further their education can leave their children there? Have a means test if you want. They didn't do it.
Her motivation was children.
Mm-hmm.
Did she have any of her own?
Yeah, she had 1 daughter, 2 daughters and 3 sons. Yeah. And one of them, he was in the army for a long time. That's the one I know well. Because when I worked for Rolls-Royce, he was there also. And I met him there. And he's now the one that I speak to about her when he comes into Derby. I think he lives in London.
What do you miss most about Daisy Camp?
I miss the creativity. We put heads together, said, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. She said, yes, Lily, that's a good idea. And it's off the ground like this, you know? Now when I talk to people my age or younger people, they just say, well, you know, it's a good idea. Nobody does anything. And Lydia is getting old and I can't do it on my own, so I just throw in the towel. I miss her because she motivates people, the young, the not so young, and the old.
She sounded like quite an all-rounder.
Yeah, she was. I like the way she would say, come on, young lady. A young man, you know, she have that tone, you know. Even her son would repeat it to me in the house. He said, when she's going to slap him, she said, come on, young man. I've got a bone to pick with you. This is the way she talk, you know. Yeah, beautiful woman.
So she had a particular way
Yeah.
of kind of finding energy within people.
Yeah.
To do things.
And she make you know that you're capable of doing things. You know, she brings out the best in people.
She was a true leader.
Mm.
Was she, I mean, she sounds very educated, she sounds very articulate and
Yeah.
everything. Does she go to different, does she study anything? Or was
I
it
have a
naturally
feeling,
caring?
I have a feeling she was in teaching. Maybe we have what you call kindergarten in the Caribbean, getting children ready for school. And I have a feeling she used to do something like that. 3 hours, you know, reading, writing, arithmetic. And she was even helping youngsters, like coming from school and they can't get on with their English grammar. She would help them, support them in that. You know, I don't know if she was paid or she just did it out of kindness, but there was a lot of kids who wasn't getting their 3 hours together, you know, coming from the Caribbean. And she speak proper English. So she helped them put their grammar in order. So that's all I know about her, and maybe I know more, but you know, we were pals, real good pals.
How would she see society today? How do you think she'd feel about the
Oh
way the
God.
community has turned out now?
As I would say to my kids, my mother would turn in her grave. She would be so upset seeing what's left of our black people and black kids, the things they get up to at a very early age, and there's nobody giving that supervision or what you'd say mentoring especially black males. They need some of that. Daisy would say community is togetherness.